Hey y'all, I'm Emily and welcome back to Bama Base, where I find peace in my garden and joy in my kitchen. Before I begin any of my to-do list today, I want to give you a garden tour because a lot has already happened. So as we exit the back door, we're coming up to the pot that I planted the mystery bulbs that I found in the other flower bed and the daylily, and it's looking great. And here's the pot of tulips. Y'all, they're stunning. Most of my tulips have already put on their show, so to see these start to open up just brings me some joy. And that's for a project coming up. So the petunias have put on some growth. This one's kind of looking sad. But here's a project for later today or in the next few days. I found these on the clearance rack at Lowe's. So I have sun patience here, some caladiums, and lantanas. So the daisies that I grew from seed are doing fantastic. And y'all, it's already putting on a bud. So pretty. Hellebores are looking stunning as well. And y'all, I'm going to give this gardenia a little bit more time. But the only green growth I see is just right at the very end. So I'm not quite sure. I might just have to cut it way back. But this flower bed is going to look so beautiful. All right, coming up to our garlic here. It's looking so well. It's looking so good. Can't wait to see what all that does. And this is a tomato that I picked up from the Morgan County Master Gardeners Association plant sale. And that variety name is called Mater Sandwich. And so when I saw the name, I just couldn't help myself. So that came home with me. And now the rest of the bed is empty because of the pests. Those dang stink bug looking things and the cabbage moths, they just annihilated it. So I'll be filling up this bed with my onions and some of my other starts very soon. But y'all, let me zoom in right here. That came from my compost bin that I thought the dirt was just completely spent, and somehow it dropped a seed. And so right there I have a beautiful flower. See the dang cabbage moth? Ugh, hate those things. You know, they're pretty, but they are such a pest in my garden. So coming around, this is my first ever green stalk. And I planted all the tiers except the bottom one with bare root strawberries. And they're doing pretty good. Need to give them some water. All right, so I'm going to plant that pot there with some beautiful flowers. The tulips are already spent there, so I'm going to let them soak up enough sun to recharge for next year. And in this pot here, I have my beautiful hydrangea surrounded by the extra garlic that I had. Here's my beautiful gardenia spire or spirea. And in this bed we have squash and some garlic. As I pan over into this bed, I just planted some onions and they're already putting on some new growth. You know, I think Goomer's getting in my bed here. And when I say Goomer, I mean Harley. And disturbing the onion sets. But a lot of them have already put on growth. So now we're looking at the strawberry part of the bed, and they're doing great. They're healthy. I've already seen growth, so hopefully I'll get a good harvest this year. Here's the other small bed next to the fence, and again I have more straight neck squash and garlic. And the poor gardenia that struggled in the front, it looks like I'll have to trim off some of the branches, but it's still hanging in there. And y'all, the smell from these gardenias, oh, so yummy. Alright, so this pot is filled with perennials from the Master Gardener Association plant sale last year. And there's yarrow and some others that I forgot, but they're all perennials from my area, and I love it. So in this raised bed, I lost a lot of soil, so I need to raise it up, and I just put in the extra garlic that I had. So I don't expect a lot of growth on those bulbs, so I might just yank them up when I'm ready to put out more of my seed starts. So these are the other two gardenias that I had pulled from my front yard and moved back here to see if I can help them recover. And now we're moving on up to the potato bed. And y'all, we're going to have a great potato year. All the green that you see are the tops of my potatoes. And a one lone carrot. But the whole bed is filled with potatoes. Alright, so panning on over to these pots against the back of the greenhouse. These are my mint and carrots. And now we're walking back to my compost area and what I am calling my rehab corner. So those are the peppers that I attempted to overwinter, and I just don't think they made it. And I'm pretty sure those gardenias are done. So I'll give them just a few more days, and if I don't see any life in them, I will empty the pots. Alrighty, so let's go check out the greenhouse. Hey, Harley. Hey, buddy. You just chilling in the sun today? Yeah, you silly boy. Alright, so as we walk into the greenhouse, here are the potatoes that I started several weeks ago and kept in the greenhouse. So they're doing great. I expect a pretty decent harvest. And here's on the to-do list today, and that is uppotting the perennials that I started. And y'all check out how hot it is in the greenhouse already. Yeah, it's pretty toasty. I'm gonna have to turn on the fan in here. And here are my tomatoes, my tomatillos, my giant Belgiums, my coleus. Looking great. They need to be fed with some fertilizer. But I'm going to have to place another order because Amazon delivered my liquid fertilizer completely broken in a clear bag with it leaking its contents everywhere. Like, why even deliver it when you know it's busted? So I had to return it. And so I'm waiting on a replacement. But y'all hear all my aromas. My San Marzano's. Y'all, the one I cannot even pronounce. And they're doing great. So they're a little small, but I started them later than I did last year. And that's okay. I have such a long growing season that I'm not worried about it at all. Yeah, these are my Kajari melons, and I definitely need to get them in the pot and get them ready to start climbing the trellis. All right, so let's go up front and check out the growth there. Hi, Harley. All right, y'all, so check out this side of the house. The hostas are in their full glory. Oh, I love this part of the yard. Now I am planning on adding a few more small hostas just to fill in the gaps. But I love this look. I love how the hostas are intermingled with the daylilies and other perennials in the back. And even though the hyacinths are going out, I still like the green border it gives us. But let me take a step back and show you the blueberries. They are so beautiful. Jason Thad! Jason decided to turn on the sprinkler when I'm standing right there. Now I'm soaked. He's having to repair one. I'll forgive him this time. Maybe he didn't know I was over here. Alright, so I'm going to step back and not get wet. But check out that blueberry bush. The others are already putting on berries. So when we turned on the irrigation system last weekend, we realized that when AT&T came out to install the fiber, the internet fiber, that they busted our irrigation, one of our main lines. So Jason's having to dig and make repairs to it. So on this side we have my perennials, the canna lilies, the azalea, and y'all, I'm getting soaked. Here's another azalea that's looking beautiful. And here's the other. Alright y'all, so here is our front flower bed. And we definitely need to add more mulch. That is on the to-do list. But y'all, check out my iris. Oh, you know, a sight like this just, it makes me stop and just admire God's beautiful creation. Makes me so happy. This right here is why I picked up more iris to add to the other side. But y'all, the daisies are coming in. Now the tulips are coming out. So the daisies are coming into their full glory. And it's just going into a new season. So the daisies were spring. The tulips were spring. And now the daisies are going to put on their show. But y'all, the beautiful iris. Oh, I love it. And I want to show you a good close-up of the Dusty Miller because they're going to flower this year. And Dusty Miller is not always perennial, but in my area, I have such a long growing zone and it gets so hot that it can typically overwinter. So here's another iris that's going to bloom soon. Love it. So my plan for this bed is to add more daisies and maybe even more tulips next year. But definitely more daisies. So here's the begonias. Just give you a heads up that they went into a shock. So I'm not sure if they're going to love this spot. See, they are shocking pretty bad. This is a self-watering container, so I'm not sure. And here is the other side of the house. Now, that sedge ender spray did affect my plants. I do see that some of the weeds are dying back, but I also see that it affected my daisies. So Instead of hooking it up to the hose, I'm going to put it in a spray bottle and do a targeted treatment. But y'all, it even affected this azalea, because the others on the other side of the house are in their full bloom, and this one is saying, help me. So this flower bed is definitely going to need my attention this summer, which is fine by me. The Canada lilies have put on new growth, and y'all, that one's my husband's favorite. So on this side of the house, we have the astilbes we planted. These were bare roots. And even though it's in full sun now, it is, predominantly a shade garden over here. So I want to add more hostas. Here's another astilbe. I figured the more hostas and perennials I add, maybe it will start choking out the Bermuda grass that made it into this flower bed. So I definitely need to weed, but I'm happy to see the astilbes popping up. The oregano, y'all, once you have oregano in your garden, you'll always have it. But just like mint, y'all be careful, because it will spread. So unless you intentionally want it to be a ground cover, y'all put it in a pot just like mint. More hostas, and then here's another azalea. Alrighty, y'all, so that's my garden tour for this week, and I'm so pleased with the garden so far. It's put on a ton of growth, and even though I have projects to do, that makes me very happy, because I love to garden. I love to add more pretty things. So all those iris, y'all. The gardenias are coming in. The daisies are coming in. I love this time of year. So thanks for hanging out with me for a garden tour, and I'll see y'all next time. I'm Emily from Bama Base, where I find peace in my garden and joy in my kitchen. Bye, y'all.